It's Thursday, April 7th, coming up live on The View. They're the hottest topics on TV, from Glen Beck announcing he's leaving his show, to which American Idol performances were Hall of Fame worthy. And the votes are in for your favorite First Lady, and you won't believe who's #1. Plus, Naomi Judds revealing the shocking family secret she kept from daughter Wynonna. Wynonna's exposing a secret of her own. And find out what happened off camera at their 91 interview with Barbara that changed Naomi's life. Then, Mike Huckabee's telling you why he says single mothers could be hurting their children and the U.S. economy. Who's to blame if the government shuts down? And why no Republican has stepped up to the plate to take on Obama in the 2012 election, including him. All that, hot topics and more, coming up live on The View.
To The View. Sherry, you have something to say, don't you?
Yes, I want to congratulate Tina Fey on behalf of all the ladies at The View. You are expecting your second baby. We love you.
Cool. All right, now, yesterday it was announced that Glen Beck is leaving his Fox News show. He says he'll still be doing various TV projects for Fox. Now, why? I mean, he's insanely popular, is what I've always heard. Why is he leaving?
Was
Insanely
I mean,
popular.
when you think of the impact that he made, and that he had this march in Washington, you know, hundreds of thousands of people came. But we have seen other people like this. What happens is you start out and you're very controversial and you're calling the President of the United States a racist,
right.
and people think, isn't it wonderful? And you get a lot of attention.
Right.
And then you begin to believe in everything you say, and it goes more and more and more. And the sponsors begin to drop out, and the audience, you know, the audience is very smart people.
Right.
And I think he just went too far. We have not heard the end of Glen Beck, but I think the ratings are down.
Don't you think that Roger Ailes should have fired him when he said that Obama was a racist, and when he said other things like that, nasty things against the victims of 9/11?
Well,
I mean, the guy was treacherous and morbid and despicable.
But
you know why they fired Juan Williams from NPR?
That's a different story entirely why he was fired. Okay, and some people actually find that it was not justifiable why he was let go. Indeed. But I think I have a lot of respect for Roger Ailes. I also think he knew that Glen Beck was on a path to something and that he was going to eventually get to a point where either ratings or sponsors were going to drop out and this was going to happen on its own.
But what's very interesting...
Let me just say something about Roger Ailes, because I've known Roger Ailes forever. He was almost the first one to put me on the air when I was on the Today Show doing something else. And recently, Roger Ailes was on This Week, the Sunday show, when I was moderating it, and he said it's all about ratings. And Roger is very smart, and I guess he overlooked a lot of things. The ratings were huge. When the sponsors start saying no, and the audience starts dropping, the networks and so forth take another look and say, this is no good.
But where's the line between free speech? Because you're always a great advocate of that, right? And I think we all tend to be, for the most part. Where is the line, then, do you draw? Because he has said things. He started not to just offend one person. He started to offend almost everybody in the things he was saying.
Well, you have to always draw a line between free speech and hate speech, and a lot of it was hate speech, I think.
But that's
this is about
a lot of people feel that way.
He shouldn't be stopped from speaking, but you know they also have the privilege of firing someone if they're.
But I wanted to jump on the Barbara bandwagon because it's really interesting. Advertisers are people watchers, and it didn't seem like it was the crazy stuff he said because the ratings were still up, but they watch the people, and the moment the people start dropping off is when those advertisers start. They will respond.
And money talks. I mean,
so is he a journalist or is he a talking head? What is he?
He says he's a clown.
I'm
scared of clowns, whether they look like him or they have makeup on.
Well, I always thought that what he was saying when he was saying that he thought Obama was racist, I always thought that was kind of interesting because I thought, have you not seen his mom?
Exactly. Right.
And so you're opening up a whole Oedipal thing, dude. Do you know that you're even doing it? And I realized he had no clue. He was just saying what he was saying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
emotion only.
In a poll to find out America's favorite first lady since the Ford administration in 1974. The #1 spot went to Nancy Reagan, followed by Hillary at #2, Michelle Obama in 3rd place, which is, you know, it's amazing. You know, when she was First Lady, she was vilified by a lot of the media and a lot of folks.
You are always better loved when you leave.
Yes.
Nancy Reagan, you know, people have very profound and warm feelings about her husband, and Nancy Reagan has behaved in such a touching and ladylike fashion. I mean, yeah, she had a tough time when she was First Lady.
Well, she became...
Hillary had a very tough time when she was First Lady.
Pat Nixon.
So, yeah.
But she became sympathetic, Nancy, because her husband got Alzheimer's disease. Yeah. Hillary Clinton's husband was cheating on her. She didn't become sympathetic for some reason.
Did.
No, she was not.
I think more women actually related to her after that.
When you're right there, they turned on her because they felt she should have left him or something.
But when women turn, a lot of women turn.
It seems like when you're in the middle, in the thick of stuff, and people can't, you know, you're right there. It's hard for people to see until you're not in it, and they can appreciate.
I also feel as though after their husband's term, looking at the examples we have, it seems as though they're able to sort of branch out and really do the things that they maybe wanted to do, and they are in a way.
Bush is doing something very nice right now.
They might be, we don't know, maybe restricted in some ways, given the opportunity to do so much during those 4 or 8 years, but afterwards they can actually continue the impact. And I like to say.
I'm sorry, dear. Go ahead.
I was just going to move us, but you had to...
No, I was going to sing.
You were going to sing?
Yes, because years ago...
Watch out. All right, go ahead, Barbara.
You'll be sorry you didn't move on.
It's an audition for American Idol.
Oh, here we go.
Are you praying that I do or that I don't?
I was begging them to help me, and nobody did. You're going to sing.
Oh, therefore, I'm going to sing.
All right, Barbara.
Sing on, girl.
And watch the ratings tumble. Okay, so years ago, before you were born, there was a woman named Sophie Tucker, whom none of you remember. Okay, but I do, because she used to work for my father. This is 100 years ago. And she used to do a song that went, some of these days.
Don't help her. Let her do her song.
There's got to be a hip-hop version of that.
Finish it.
I know Kanye remixed it.
Do it. Oh, thank you. You're supporting me.
I am. Really? Now?
No, let me just sing my song.
Really? Oh, my gosh. They just said to me, we're going.
Sing us out, Barbara. Sing us out.
Sing quick.
I'll sing you out.
Yes.
Some of these days, you're gonna miss me, baby. You're gonna miss your red hot.
We'll be right back
I'm not
with more
gonna
Hot
sing
Topics.
this on YouTube.
ABC News has just reported that a 7.4 magnitude aftershock has occurred in Miyagi, Japan, and a tsunami warning is in effect once again.
There's no relief for those people. It's just a horror.
Earthquakes are like that, man. You know, they come and they go, and then they come back. It's really hard, but you know, we keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best, and keep our eye on the tsunami warning.
Well, there's the nuclear issue there.
There's a lot of issues. You know, there's a lot of issues, but. Let's lighten up a little bit, okay? Because I know you guys love American Idol, and I was told it was rock and roll night on American Idol last night.
This is one of the
Did they rock and roll?
So you really didn't watch?
Oh, heck no.
No, it was actually a fun, you know.
Whoopi's made no bones about it.
They played. It was great tribute last night to some of to rock and roll's greatest, and I think when you're watching, because they're all fantastic. The top 8 are all so talented, but I think many people were thinking, okay, if I were to pay money to go see a concert, and it wasn't Charlie Sheen's, who would I go see? And it was Scotty McCreery sang Elvis's "That's All Right," and he was great. And Casey Abrams, the guy you picked early on, Joy, sang Creedence Clearwater's Revival. Have you seen The Rain? While playing the upright bass. Check it out.
Yesterday and days before, the sun is cold and the rain is hard. I know it's been that way for all my time. Oh yeah, baby. Now mama, she done told me, papa done told me too. Son, that gal you fooling with, well, she ain't nothing to you, but that's alright, son. that's all right. Well, that's all right now, Mama. Anyway you do.
Wow.
Yeah, so those I think were the two the judges thought they were the concert-worthy performances.
Who's the guy that does the hip-hop thing to the country
Scotty
music?
McCreery. He got a little...
Well, we keep our fingers crossed, because how many more weeks is it?
Many.
Thousands more weeks.
Well, we're going to be talking about them up until 2014.
But you know, there's a new show called The Voice where they don't really judge you on anything but how you sound.
That's going to be interesting.
Like
That's going to be interesting. Now, listen, President Obama just announced his re-election bid, and he already has a very bizarre endorsement from Muammar Gaddafi, who said despite the recent U.S. airstrikes, he wishes Obama luck in 2012, writing, quote, "You will always remain our son, whatever happened. We will still pray that you continue to be president of the USA."
Oh, give me a break.
That's what he says.
If you really want to harm this man whom you call your son, this is how he addressed. This is how call him endorsement. This is what he called him: "Our dear son, Excellency Baraka Hussein Abu Umama." That's not going to do our president.
Who's Mama?
No.
This is what they call him.
You know, but it makes me think.
Does it mean something?
It makes me think.
Well, does it mean something in Libyan?
When they say that?
The salutation?
I think it means we're all brothers. I don't know. He's trying to point out that.
But is he really? Is he really crazy, or is he smarter than we think? Because it's that
still
kind of
there.
reverse psychology of, you know, let's endorse you.
No, I think he really, I mean, look, this is not good. This is not good news. I think the good thing for the administration is that it's coming early on in the first week of his throwing the bid in for re-election. So I think it'll have time to fizzle out. This is bad news for anybody running.
Terribly serious.
Look, a lot of people actually take Gaddafi quite seriously.
I think people take Gaddafi seriously, but the fact that Gaddafi wrote a letter, you know, Ahmadinejad also wrote a letter, remember?
Yes, he did.
Ahmadinejad, I always remember
love
how
that.
he
It's my favorite thing.
He's a friend when we're bombing his country. He's not going to be.
No one will believe that they're friends, but it's also you don't want his
jump on the bandwagon.
Well, I have another crazy question for you. A mega church pastor who questioned the existence of hell in his best-selling book says he can't believe the firestorm of controversy that it caused in some religious leaders. They're branding him a heretic. I mean, come on. You would think they'd be very happy to know that there was no heat waiting for them.
These but these mega church preachers start to question the existence of hell when a sex scandal is about to break.
Well, you know, this preacher.
Yeah, because you'll hear suddenly they'll be like in the air, you know, like with Jimmy Swaggart and these types, that there's a sex scandal. I'm going to hell. You know, that whole thing.
But you know, it's very funny.
I have sinned. Well, you know that whole routine.
What we did a few years ago, we did a special called Heaven, Where Is It and How Do You Get There?
Yeah.
And one of the things was that if you did not believe in Jesus as they described it, that you would not go to heaven. That means that if you're a Mormon or a Jew or a Seventh-day Adventist, you would go to hell. Now, if you take away hell, you're taking away a big part of that argument.
With this particular,
people want vengeance. People want vengeance when you do something bad, and they believe that there's a place you're going to get to afterwards. That's going to be bad.
But this particular
pastor, to bring you together. Religions are supposed to bring out the best in us. It doesn't look that way very often.
No.
Well, that's only because of human nature and the tendency towards sin.
Word, Sherry, speak, girl, speak.
No, I want to say this particular pastor, Rob Bell. He wrote a book that I don't really believe he was talking about. He questioned the existence of hell. What he was saying was Christians become so focused on fear of we're so scared of going to hell that we forget there's 800 million people not eating on earth. They are in a hell right now. How do we get them out of their hell?
So why did they turn on him?
You know, I don't know. You have to read the book, but I think it's some Christians we so make people fear God instead of saying it's very cool to love God. Yes, I believe in hell. Hell stopped me from getting out there and doing a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing. I mean, you know, some people need a hell. Being good is not just good enough. You need a hell. That's that extra
I think hell is anything but heaven, quite honestly.
Here's the thing, and we'll get back to that in a second because it goes with the theater piece that we saw.
Yes.
But Barbara, today marks...
Well, this is an important day. Today marks the 17th anniversary of the brutal genocide in Rwanda, where 1 million people were slaughtered in 17 days. And so we're trying to support and pay tribute to the survivors, especially to the women of this tragedy. So there has been jewelry that's been made by the women of Rwanda. We are all wearing their good look. You can see whoopies. These are mine. They're not expensive, and they're called Sky bracelets. And for more information, you can go to our website. You can buy them. Right. That's a heavenly thing to do.
Yes. Now, speaking of heaven and hell and all these things, I went, and I know you guys saw it, but I went to see the Book of Mormon. And I have to tell you, it is not at all what people are assuming. It is really a love story, a story about faith and belief, and it is so brilliantly done. It is so brilliantly structured. If you are a big fan of the musical genre, you will love this thing. Now,
it's very original.
There's nothing like it on Broadway right now. The Book of Mormon. Now, I know a lot of people have probably heard very negative stuff. I have to tell you, it's not. And I was shocked at myself for discovering that I actually had a good time.
It got the greatest reviews that you could possibly get.
Barbara, that you loved.
Yeah, I did. You know, whenever we can give a boost, we do. But the Book of Mormon, I can't imagine if it were written about another group besides the Mormons that they would get away with it. The Mormons have not protested this. It's very funny. There's also a great show that sounds like it's a show for children, not unless they're 12 years or older, but it's remarkable. See that horse? That's a puppet. And the show is called War Horse. It's done by the National Theatre of Great Britain. It's just come to New York. And you find yourself crying, and then you say, it's about a boy's love for his... I'm crying over a puppet? What's wrong with me?
It's another original thing. And
wonderful show.
I have a wonderful show opening in Chicago this weekend, and it's very different from anything else that I've done, called White Noise. And if you want more information on it, you can look it up on our website, but it is edgy.
One more thing.
Yes?
I want to say that April 20th, Sister Act, produced by Whoopi Goldberg. Previews now.
Yes, it's in previews now, so grab a ticket when you can. Oh, good. So we will be right back with Wynonna and Naomi Judd, because that's what we do.
Naomi and Wynonna Judd let the cameras capture every tense, awkward, angry, emotional, and sometimes scandalous moment of their first concert tour in a decade, because they have a new series called The Judds, and it debuts this Sunday. We have known them for many years, and I have great affection for both. Please welcome back Naomi and Wynonna Judd.
What? I have to say, I love your boobs. We couldn't even kiss. Our boobs were pressing. We couldn't even get a kiss in, me and you.
I thought you said her boots, and then I looked down, she wasn't wearing boots.
We are chesties.
So who bedazzled you?
I have a bedazzler named Mary in Nashville.
Look at that.
These are all put on by hand.
I love it.
Love it.
I thought you did too. I thought you said, I did too. I thought you said boobs.
No, I did say boobs.
She did say boobs.
We didn't get to kiss because our boobs are so
okay. Let's begin.
They're kind of out there, so I thought she said boobs.
Okay.
Well, they are kind of out there.
Can we begin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't believe that we did an interview 20 years ago.
I know.
Yeah. Well,
I
anyway,
remember it like yesterday.
I know you told me every detail. But I want to talk about what's just recently happened, because Ashley was on, your other daughter Ashley was on with us yesterday.
There's three Judds. We're a duo, but we're a trio.
I just lost my earpiece.
That's all right, I got you,
okay,
baby.
you got it. Okay, darling. So anyway, we always thought that it was, you know, this great, happy family, mama, and somehow with all the obstacles, you raised, you know, a pretty happy family. Well, Ashley has written a book in which she talks about the fact that she was sexually abused by someone who knew the family and that she felt neglected. And what she said in our program yesterday, it wasn't my mom or my dad, it was an alcoholic family system. And for various reasons, it just didn't work very well. And the kinds of things that happen in a family that doesn't work well happen to all of us. You want to comment?
I do, because I think I'm the generation, well, I'm a single working mother and I'm raising 2 teenagers. And we're breaking the cycle with this generation because in our family, we're not terminally unique. We're just like every other family. We have the same issues. Ours are microscopically looked at, and people are trying to almost pin us against each other. And I wanted to come out today and say, listen, we agree to disagree in our family, but we show up because we support each other for who we are.
Do you feel that Ashley was neglected?
In a way, I do.
You do.
But the thing I want to acknowledge is that I adore my daughter. These 2 girls, and my husband, of course, Larry, are the joy of my life, and I support Ashley. Are you all mothers out there? I know everybody up here is a mother. I would give anything if my mother would acknowledge my reality, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're allowing each of us to have a voice. It's Ashley's turn. We're getting ready to have the OWN show come out on Sunday. We're telling our story. We all have 3 different realities of the same car ride to the nightmares we were in, and it's her turn to tell her side of the story. I'm sure
have you
that
read
I'll...
the book?
No, I have not read the book.
Have you read the book?
I've been kind of busy on tour with this, Judd.
Yeah.
Naomi, can I ask you? I mean,
you know what? I have to just say this because we've known each other for so many years. Whatever happened in all of those years, you 2 are among the most honest. There's almost nothing about yourselves you don't reveal, and that takes a lot of courage.
Well, I'm going to speak for myself. That's one of the things we learned in therapy. Even though you're mother-daughter, and I don't know if you guys are guilty of this or not, I hate it when mothers speak for their children. I can tell you that I was honest. It's like what Ram Dass said, that truth is circumstantial. And with what I knew, which wasn't very much back then, you know, I got pregnant at 17. My mother, God bless her, raised me the best that she knew how, which didn't really work. But having said that, I was as honest as I could be with what I knew. But I am a different person now on the other side of the show. That's how revolutionary the show was. And I'm hoping that it challenges all the families out there to sort of re-examine and reevaluate your relationships.
Well, to know what not to do. We trust Oprah. We've known her 25 years, so it was a personal relationship, like with you.
The show that's going to appear on...
When I see you first, I don't think Barbara Walters, the legend. I think the kind woman who came to our home 20 years ago, and then I realized, oh, she's a legend. Same with Oprah. She is someone I trust. I said, I won't do a reality show, but I'll do a docu-series because it's a documentary. There's no script. Because I'm tired of people, the press, saying the crap they've said about our family all these years. Oh, they don't get along. Raise your hand, mothers and daughters, if you ever find yourselves in a disconnect moment. You know? Okay, all right. So I want to show America, as a 46-year-old woman raising 2 kids, paybacks are hell.
Yeah, they are.
I want to show America what it looks like to finally honor this woman who worked so hard to get us to where we are today. I think I missed the first couple of years in fame because I was so busy trying to match her prissy little butt dresses and show up at award shows. And now I'm able to tour with her and say, Mom, I love you. And thank you for doing the best that you could with what you had. Now we have better tools.
And Ashley called me last night and said, I love you, and she was crying. And...
Well, we have much more and more revelations, and Wynonna and Naomi, Judd are going to stay with us, so we hope you do too. We'll be right back.
Naomi and Wynonna Judd. Now, Naomi, on your show, you revealed something that was a little similar to what Ashley had said, and you revealed to Wynonna when you were filming this show. So we want to take a look at what you revealed.
My first memory is when I was 3½, and a man was trying to sexually abuse me. That was my very first memory, and I can remember everything about it. I rebuffed him, and it happened a couple of more twice more to me, and I just, you know, kind of knocked him away. And I've never said anything to anybody. You know, just kept it all to myself.
Whose picture was that? Of him? Of the guy?
Yeah.
Was that him, the photograph?
Yeah,
that was
and I've
down?
still not talked about it.
He's alive?
No, he's passed, but I've never talked about it with anybody in my family.
He was related?
Oh, yeah. Isn't it interesting that, and of course, I'm not terminally unique. You know, we know that 1 out of 3 women in this country. I never told a single soul until about 2 years ago. We're sitting at my kitchen table with our therapist, whose name is Ted. We call him the Big Toe because he leads us. And he said, "What was your first memory?" As if in 12 years of therapy, he'd never asked me that question before. And I said, well, it was, you know, being sexually abused was my first memory. And he about fell off his seat, and he said, "Why haven't you discussed that or told anybody?" And I said, you know, maybe I need to look at that, because then he said, "Why didn't you tell your mother?" And then I fell apart, because I realized I didn't trust my mother.
You kept it in.
But it's hard for you to hear this, isn't it, Wynonna? Because even in the clip, you look, is that the...
Yeah.
You're looking at something, and even when she's speaking about it now, you couldn't really look at her.
Dissociate.
That's tough.
She told me on the tour. I found out then, and I really was a little resentful that the cameras were on, because this is such a personal thing. But I think we're willing to step out on faith and hope that it helps someone else to tell someone, because there is a lot of shame and secrecy, and it shows that everyone in our family, that this is affecting us, to watch out for the next generation and my grandchildren.
Your sister was sexually abused, your mother was sexually abused, were you? You were too, the whole family. And none of you ever discussed it with
I discussed it in my book. I put it in my book, and I talked about it. I haven't faced him yet, and I'm working on that. You know, we're a work in progress. America, as you're watching us, you're seeing yourselves and me going, how in the world can she be on tour with her mother? You're looking at her going, how in the world is she able to sing with her daughter? You're looking at Ashley going, how does it to be the third Judd and be considered to be the one left behind? Each one of you see yourselves in us, and that's why we're willing to step up. Because people keep saying, why the heck are you putting your crap out there? Because I am so sick and tired of the problem being discussed on TV. I want to be part of the solution.
Wynonna and
Maybe
Naomi.
that's just my own motherhood speaking.
No,
but
it's not.
There's a great protector in
But
you, too.
You know, it's Naomi said that she was molested. Your sister was. You were. A lot, like you said, 1 in 3 are molested. Why do you think it is that we keep such a lid on it? You guys are so close, and you just revealed this to Wynonna 2 years ago. Why do you think that is that we do that?
Because of the shame and the guilt of people thinking that they had something to do with it or that they earned it in some way is crap.
Well, a lot of the time the predator says that, too, if it's a
they're-
child,
and
right?
they're
What's the
also
solution?
told,
You
if
just
you
said-
tell, then I will hurt you or hurt someone you love.
Yeah,
You just
just
said
say
that you want
that's it.
that you're doing this to present a solution. What's the solution?
The solution is a living truthfully. Like you said, Joy, I've been on your show. The veil has been lifted. There are no more secrets. We can now live in truth, and we don't have to worry about somebody going on VH1 behind-the-scene music and telling our story for us.
Not
we
just
can
your
speak it.
secrets. What you say gives power to people
lot of women.
who are keeping secrets.
And I
to a
can use
lot of
my
men
voice,
as well.
because
Yes.
growing up, I
You're
didn't
right.
have a
Did you
voice.
see Oprah's show where she did
No,
all the
but
men
I
on?
read this insane article about the military, where this is something that's been happening in the military, and the men just won't discuss it. It's man-on-man violence, but it's still, I mean, just to be able to say
I'd love
this
to
is
get
happening.
clarification on one thing. The reason I didn't tell anybody is that I grew up in a family of secrets. I mean, when my little brother Brian died of a hideous cancerous death, nobody said a word to us. They gave us a sleeping pill. We went to bed. Nobody cried or talked afterward about
just gone.
anything. And the thing I realized about myself, and this is how I believe it's what you choose to do with what happens to you, I realize now, and I give my mother a break, but I didn't trust my mother.
That you would be protected.
I mean, to not tell your mother something at 3 years old, that's how I
I'm going to
came
have
to
to
be.
interrupt, because that's what we do on The View. I'm going to tell you guys something.
Just don't sing the way I do. Just sing the way you do.
But you're the only one. Here's the deal. We took a chance, and Ted said, Naomi, Judd, you tell your daughter and give her the respect to be there for you in that tender, intimate moment. You're missing out on an opportunity to connect. And if you watch the show on the OWN network this Sunday, you will see the two of us in a way you've never seen us before, because you've seen the tough side and the working side. We sing on the tour, yes. But she tells me, and you can see my reaction, and you can see the two of us coming together. It didn't disconnect us. We survived it, and we're stronger for it.
Thank you so much, Wynonna and Naomi, for giving a voice. What courage you have. And congratulations on your release. I will stand by you. Naomi, Judd, the 2-hour premiere of The Judds aired Sunday, April 10th on OWN, and members of our studio audience are going home with their new CD. We'll be right back. Mike Huckabee.
Government may be shutting down, Glen Beck stepping down, and Republicans have yet to step up to the plate to challenge President Obama in 2012. So we have a lot to talk about with former governor, current news host at Fox, and author of A Simple Government, Mike Huckabee. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Great to be back.
Glad that you're here. Okay, so why is there no Republican yet to throw their hat officially into the ring to challenge Obama in 2012?
Well, there's really no hurry. You know, this whole process gets way too long. I don't know of anybody walking on the streets of any city that's saying, golly, I wish there was an election that we could just focus on for the next 18 months.
Right, it feels as though we just came out of one, right?
Well, it's created by the news media that wants to cover the horse race of a presidential campaign. But if you look at the schedule, it's going to start later. It's not going to be front-loaded. It's going to stretch out over a longer period of time. And whoever wins this demolition derby among the Republicans will have to then climb a billion-dollar Barack Obama mountain. Now, the point is, the sooner you get in, the more money you've got to raise to stay in. And it's just not real smart to do it any earlier than necessary.
Well, maybe that's why the last time you were on, because we love having you on. I think you're a regular. You're on almost as much with us as we are. But you said the last time that you were afraid to run because you didn't have that kind of money. And now there's a poll, Mitt Romney is #1, and you and Donald Trump are #2, and he's got a lot of money.
He's got the money.
So why don't you make a thing? You and he's vice president, and you got a winning ticket now.
And he writes the check. Maybe that's what I'll talk to him about. I think maybe that's the,
but do you have to be on? I mean, you write book after book. You're on a lot. You're a wonderful guest. He's on everything. Do you have to do that these days?
Do you have to run?
No. Do you have to have that kind of presence everywhere?
Yeah, I do think it's important to get a message. For example, one of the things that I wanted to do with the book Simple Government was to say to people, here's what I stand for, here's what I believe. Part of my decision process is, if people read this and say, you know what, I like that, that's going to be an encouragement. If they read it and say, I think that's nutty, to how you would approach.
Are you worried about President Obama's birth certificate as much as Donald Trump is?
I am not worried about it at all. I think he was born American. I believe this, and I've said this many times, Joy, that if there was anything to that, I believe Hillary's opposition researchers would have found that in the primary, and they would have more than told us all of that. So no, I don't worry about that.
All right. You know, one of the things you mentioned, the values in your book that are quite clear, and this is what I love about you. We know exactly where you stand on all of these issues. One of the things you talk about, and you begin the book with, is the importance of a family, that nuclear family, especially the presence of a father. And you say that children of a single mother are 5 times more likely to live in poverty than kids living with both parents. They have higher rates of delinquency, alcohol, drug abuse, smoking, obesity, 125% higher risk of suffering from abuse, and then twice as likely to drop out of school. What is a single mom to do? And then how do we get those dads back into the picture?
Well, first of all, there are some remarkable single mothers, including the mother of my own wife, who raised 5 children by herself and did a remarkable job. This is not to say that single mothers don't work exceptionally hard. My point is they work even harder. They get less credit. That's the point. Yeah. But let's not kid ourselves. It's very difficult. If you talk to a single mom who struggles, chances are she's trying to balance enough jobs to keep clothes and food and all of those things for her kids.
Instead of focusing on single mothers, why do the Republicans want to remove the safety net so that single mothers can get food stamps and get some kind of health care?
I don't think the Republicans want to do that.
Looks
I don't.
like that to me.
No. Let's be clear. I think that there are many of the safety nets that are critical. I governed a state for almost 11 years. Medicaid was an important part of making sure that people who could not access any kind of health care got it. We took Medicaid to a different level in my state. We made sure that the kids whose parents were trying to do better wouldn't lose all their medical coverage, because the fallacy of Medicaid is that there's this threshold. You have it all or you have nothing. What about the mothers who have worked enough to where now they've crossed the threshold? Many mothers couldn't cross the threshold because it would be more harmful to their kids.
The budget cuts coming down tomorrow from the GOP are horrendous, and you know it.
No, they're not, Joy, because
they'll shut down.
No, here's what the proposal is: block grants, so you don't take the funding out and you give the states flexibility in how they administer it. Right now, part of the problem, and I know this because I governed a Medicaid program for all these years, if you have to do what the federal government says rather than what you know really meets the needs of the people of your state, you are very locked into something that may not be as effective.
You talk a lot about the states having, the federal government having less and the states having more. Just to get back to what Elizabeth said, yes, we all want it to be stronger families, but what do you do about it? How do you get the fathers in? What's your plan?
Well, one of the things that has got to happen is fathers need to understand that fatherhood is not simply being a sperm donor. There's got to be a greater understanding. Let me give an example. We have a $300 billion a year dad deficit in this country. That's the amount of money that the taxpayers pick up because dads biologically father a child but never parent the child. Now, what about if the biological father were required to pay the child support for the children that he fathers?
You would have to do the same thing the courts are doing now, trying to track them down. And also, I just want to say on behalf of single mothers, you know, not all of us wanted to be with those men that we found ourselves with. A lot of us, you know, a lot of women have to get away from those men. And I like a good family, too. But to me, you know, I think abuse of women with men who are the nucleus, or women who have husbands and they drown their 6 kids. I mean, you know, this evil happens no matter what.
We're certainly not going to justify, no one would, Whippy, that we ought to keep people paired with an alcoholic, with an abuser, with a person who abandons their spouse, or a person who's an adulterer who cheats on them and humiliates them. None of those things mean that you ought to stay in a relationship like that.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Well, because this is supposed to happen tomorrow. The government is supposed to shut down tomorrow, unless the Republicans and Democrats can come together and get some kind of budget for the rest of the year. How is that affecting everybody in this audience, just your average American person, if the government just decides to stop?
It's going to affect soldiers getting paychecks. It won't affect Social Security beneficiaries or Medicare patients getting their payment. It won't affect the post office. No, they'll get theirs, and I think they shouldn't. By the way, a bill was passed last weekend that I thought was a great bill. It said that if the government shuts down, the Congress and the president don't get paid. I think that is a bill that should pass. No, that came from an Arkansas congressman named Steve Womack, who pushed that bill. I think it is a great bill.
I think he found a lot of support for it, too.
The Republicans rejected that bill.
No. The Senate rejected the bill. The Republicans passed the bill, Joy.
The majority.
The Republicans passed that bill.
Yes, they did.
In the Senate?
In the House.
Oh, in the House.
But the Senate won't do it.
Not in the Senate.
Governor, we're always glad when you come here, and we seem to get a lot of support for that idea in our audience here. We want to thank Mike Huckabee for being here. Members of our audience are going home with a copy of his book, A Simple Government. We'll be right back.
I'm not going to sing anymore. Have a great day. Have a great day, everyone. Have a little time to enjoy the view.